We often imagine royalty living lavish lives, untouched by suffering. But history has a dark secret. Even kings and queens faced gruesome, horrific ends. Their power couldn't stop disease, madness, or violent death. Get ready to hear the disgusting truth about 9 royals who died in the most horrific ways. No soft stories here, just shocking tales of decay, torture, and a truly royal mess. Emperor Elagabalus, a scandalous reign. Emperor Elagabalus, who ascended the Roman throne at just 14, is infamous for his outrageous excesses. He defied Roman norms by wearing women's clothing, taking multiple spouses, and even seeking a sex change. His chaotic 4-year reign enraged the Roman elite. By 18, Rome had enough. In 222 AD, his own Praetorian Guard turned on him. Elagabalus and his mother were dragged from the palace, stripped, and murdered in the streets. His headless, mutilated body was then dragged through Rome's gutters, spat on by citizens, and finally thrown into the Tiber River, the ultimate Roman insult. Despite attempts to erase him, Elagabalus remains synonymous with debauchery and a uniquely degrading end. His death stands as one of Rome's most public and shameful imperial executions. King Henry I, a royal Demise by Lamprey. King Henry I, the youngest son of William the Conqueror, met his end not by battle, but by his love for lampreys, a risky, eel-like delicacy. Despite warnings from his physicians, the 67-year-old king gorged himself on a plate of these fish during a trip to Normandy in 1135. This led to a violent illness, likely severe food poisoning or acute gastroenteritis, causing intense pain, vomiting, and fever before his death days later. But the most disgusting part came after his death. His embalming was rushed and poorly done, leading to rapid decomposition and an overwhelming stench. His attendants could barely tolerate being near him, and during the long journey to Reading Abbey, parts of his body had to be buried en route due to the unbearable decay. Ultimately, this powerful king is remembered less for his reign and more for a plate of slimy fish and a body that rotted during its final journey. Edward II, the king who died by fire from the inside. Edward II's fall was pure medieval horror, betrayal, humiliation, and one of the most disgusting deaths ever recorded. Crowned in 1307, he quickly became one of England's most hated kings. His obsession with male favourites like Piers Gaveston, military failures, and ignoring his wife, Queen Isabella of France, turned his court into a scandal. Isabella had enough. She fled to France, took a lover, Roger Mortimer, and came back with an army. They captured Edward, forced him to give up the throne to his son, and locked him away in Berkeley Castle. But dead kings don't inspire rebellions. Living ones do. So one night, Edward was executed in a way so vile it still whispered about a red hot poker shoved into his anus. No wounds, no blood, just internal fire and screaming. His insides were cooked alive. Was it propaganda? Maybe. But the sheer horror of it stuck for centuries. Whether true or not, Edward's death became the ultimate symbol of political revenge. A king destroyed from within, literally. Emperor Valerian, the human footstool. In 260 AD, Roman Emperor Valerian made history. For all the wrong reasons. Captured in battle by Persian King Shapur I, he became the only Roman emperor ever taken alive. But Shapur didn't stop at victory. He turned Valerian into a human footstool, stepping on his back to mount his horse. This degrading punishment lasted for years, and when Shapur was done with him, things got worse. Valerian was flayed alive. His skin was stuffed with straw and put on display in a temple, like a gruesome trophy. True or not, the tale stuck an emperor humiliated, skinned, and displayed like a scarecrow. Few royal deaths are more revolting. The forgotten Tsar beaten to death in secret. And most people haven't heard of Tsar Ivan VI, and that's no accident. Russia wanted it that way. Crowned as a baby, Ivan was overthrown at age 1 by Empress Elizabeth and erased from history. He spent the next 23 years in total solitary confinement. No light, no visitors, no books, just stone walls and silence. Then came Catherine the Great in 1762. Ivan, still alive and royal by blood, was a threat. Her order, kill him if anyone tries to set him free. In 1764, someone did. Officer Vasily Marovich tried to rescue Ivan, but failed. The guards stormed his cell and bludgeoned him to death with iron rods. He was beaten so viciously, his skull cracked open. His body was left bloody and unrecognizable. Catherine buried the truth in paperwork, but the horror leaked out. Ivan lived erased from the world and died in the most brutal way imaginable. Prince Sado, sealed alive in a rice chest. Prince Sado of 18th century Korea was mentally ill and dangerously violent, beating servants, assaulting women, and killing eunuchs. Feared by the court but protected by his royal title, only his father King Yongjo could stop him. In 1762, the king ordered Sado locked in a wooden rice chest during summer. For 8 days, he screamed, vomited, defecated, and went mad inside the suffocating box. When it was opened, Sado was dead, bloated, rotting, and folded in filth. One of the most gruesome royal deaths in history. Adolf Frederick of Sweden, the king who ate himself to death. In 1771, King Adolf Frederick of Sweden turned gluttony into a death sentence. Known more for his love of food than politics, he celebrated Shrove Tuesday with a monstrous feast: lobster, caviar, sauerkraut, kippers, champagne, and 14 creamy semla pastries soaked in warm milk. He devoured it all. That night his body rebelled. He collapsed with stomach cramps, gasping for air. By morning, he was dead. Doctors blamed digestive failure, but modern experts suspect gastric rupture, cardiac arrest, or even diabetic shock from the sugar overload. His death became infamous. The king who ate himself to death was found bloated, pale, drenched in sweat and bile, surrounded by uneaten dessert, leaking fluids, and the sickly sweet stench of sugar-fed death. A grotesque royal end, served cold. Pharaoh Akhenaten. He was Egypt's strangest ruler, husband to Nefertiti, father of King Tut, and the man who tried to erase all Egyptian gods for one, the sun Diskaten. He moved the capital, changed the art, and appeared with a bizarre body. Elongated skull, narrow chest, wide hips, and thin limbs. Was it symbolic? Maybe. But some say he had genetic disorders like Marfan or Klinefelter syndrome. Either way, when he died, likely from his condition, Egypt wanted nothing more to do with him. His name was scratched off walls, his city abandoned, his monuments destroyed, and his body, dumped in a ruined tomb, possibly KV-55, broken bones, a botched mummification, a defaced sarcophagus, no golden mask, no royal crypt, just a disgraced, rotting body buried like garbage. In a land obsessed with the afterlife, being denied a proper burial was a fate worse than death. Akhenaten tried to become a god. He ended up a mutilated corpse, erased and forgotten. Queen Sunandha Kumariratana, the queen no one could touch. Queen Sunandha of Shaim, both wife and half, sister to King Rama V, was young, beloved, and mother to a baby daughter. In May 1880, while sailing down the Chao Phraya River, her boat capsized, throwing her and her child into the water. Dozens of royal attendants saw it happen. Not one moved. Why? Because touching the queen, even to save her life, meant death by law. Terrified of punishment, they stood frozen as Sunandha and her baby drowned in front of them. Their bodies were later recovered. The heartbroken king abolished the law and punished those who failed her. But it was too late. Queen Sunandha didn't die in an accident. She died from a system that valued royal sanctity over human life. Her death remains one of the most horrifying examples of tradition killing compassion. 9 royals, 9 thrones, 9 unforgettable, gruesome deaths. From exploding organs to deadly feasts, royal life ended in ways anything but noble. These weren't heroic exits. They were brutal, bizarre, agonizing, with deaths by ripped intestines, peeled flesh, rotting infections, suffocating traditions. The truth: power never protected them. Royalty didn't stop the rot. Because sometimes, what we remember most is how disgustingly they died. History doesn't always shine, it festers.